I started immediately after the high school in architecture. I started to do caricatures. I was very, very famous cartoonist because I started to get like prizes, international prizes for in Zagreb, in Skopje. Yes, it was in Skopje. First prize was I got in Italy in Marastica. It's just for cartoons, not comics, but for cartoons, for caricatures. And I started to do the cartoons, and together I worked like architect. And step by step, somebody proposed me to make small short. In Lithuania, they had not animation in order. For example, in Soviet Union, every republic had like a school of. It was in Moscow was Soyuz-Multfilm. It's mostly part of the directors was Jewish. It's very interesting because yes, all Jewish. A lot of the Jewish was in this studio, and they like they helped to create the studios in different Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, in Latvia, in Estonia, and last republic was Lithuania. So they proposed me. Somebody found me and said, Ilya, you start to do animation. Maybe you want to create. So I'm like a father of Lithuanian animation in Lithuania. So, but before the war, first animator in the world who started to do puppet animation was Vladislav Starevich. Maybe you heard a little about him. He is from runaway. He's Polish guy, but they ran away from Russia. It was some putsch. I don't know. Before the war, it was the Tsar was. So and they ran to Kaunas. He lived in Kaunas, and he came to Russian. It was in beginning of the century. It was in 1914, before revolution, and he started to do with animals small animation films like puppet animation. It was boss of the studio was Khanzhonkov. And if you see the story of animation, it's named everywhere that Vladislav Starevich in Kaunas made first puppet animation film. So it was beginning of Lithuanian animation, but then it was like nothing. And I started to do it in 85. I finished the school, and I was like a first one of the creators of it was three guys. We finished the school and was one of the creators of Lithuanian animation. So, but in the same moment, I worked for different magazines in the world. But mostly it was everything was closed. Like social lager was. I mean, the East countries. It's Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, Poland. So my drawings was in the Polish, very famous magazine Szpilki. Everyone knows this magazine, Perspectiva, like this, and it was very interesting because they paid small money, and money was like dollar money. It was special shops in Russian where you can buy, for example, shoes for this money, cigarettes. It was not, just in these shops for this money for people who made some money in the West countries. It's very, very, very funny. I still remember this. I especially moved to Moscow because it was biggest shop to buy something to bring in Lithuania, some Fanta. Or it was very funny. Drinks like Fanta, like it's Coca-Cola, a cigarette Marlboro, that you can buy, and it was very funny, of course. So it was life like this, and it was so, of course. When I was in Poland, they gave me some, the magazine Harakiri. He asked me in the magazine, the publishers, from which country I came. I said, from Lithuania. Oh, and he take out, I don't know, from Harakiri. What's happened in France when they killed the cartoonists. This magazine was from Harakiri. They came. From Harakiri was sexy cartoons magazine. So, and in 2 hours I looked on this magazine, because for us it was like a nonsense, I remember when I came from Poland, and on the board some policemen came, they checked my magazine, my bag, they took from me Playboy, it was everything, no photos, nothing, was not allowed to, it was life like this was. So when it's, then a lot of people, I'm one of the first who started to travel a little in other countries, and it was my experience in this life. But now, of course, when I started to live in New York, of course, I saw a lot of artists, and I worked with Jacques Zander and remember different cartoonists from different magazines. One of my friends was Bill Plinton, maybe you know him, animator. So it was one of he nominated. Also John Dilwart, different people. So it started to be more close to this people, which it was like forbidden to know people names, and it's not special life was. So why I start to find artists, Jewish artists who, for example, if you know École de Paris school. Chaim Sutin, Chagall, it's all Litvaks artists. It was in Vilnius, was art school, and it was in Vitebsk school. And they moved from Vitebsk to Vilnius school, and then they moved to Paris, and they became one of the biggest artists in the world. But it's Lithuanian, they born in Lithuania. I mean, they connected to Lithuania, Litvaks. And it was Lifshitz sculpture, and if you had been in Paris, in stelas made in the Holocaust Museum, is Shah Museum in Paris. It's made by Artie Blatt. I know him. He was a friend of my friend's father, and I met him in Vilnius too. And now, for example, what happened in Lithuania, for example, Bach maybe what is his, Solomon Bach, I don't remember his first name. He was survived in the war.